All right, what up? Episode 2 of BlerdShyt podcast has now officially been started. I am your host, Buddha, the God Benevilza. And with me, I have my lovely homies here. You can go ahead and give them a little plug.
I mean, I just came here to beat somebody's ass. That's all right. I just came here with one job, and that's it. And talk about these video games. Yeah, it's gonna start. It's starting right now.
It's starting now.
Okay.
It's starting now. Okay.
Well, I am Jamal, also known as Jamal P, straight from Gary. No. Here to play games, here to answer that challenge and that calling, to see if
shout out to the podcast.
I was waiting on that.
I was reading the notes. I was like, I guess that's the part. Also from Horizontal Refreshments. If you didn't know, you'll be catching us a little later.
That's the theme song. That's the theme song. Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
But yes, we are definitely live on episode 2. This is game night. So there are going to be a couple of times where we will be hosting game nights with different people, and we'll just be playing games, talking shit, and asking and answering questions. So, but before we even go into all of that, please, if you have not, subscribe, and follow BlerdShyt_pod, where you will find all of our content thus far. Also, before we even start, I want to kind of give a little shout out to my friend JC, who has also gave me the opportunity to do a show called Seasons of Pride, where there are a lot of gamers who are just raising money for different charities that are involved in the LGBT community.
That's why I'm gonna win.
And one of the charities that I'll be a part of and I'll be raising money for is Gamer X. And the charity basically just focuses on representation of the LGBT community in gaming and content that's alike. So please, if you get the chance, follow me on Twitch, The Real Square. That's square with a Z, not a S. And I will be streaming Time Spinners, which is just like a little 64-bit game. Tonight, 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. I'm trying to raise $500 for Gamer X. So please just come and watch, come talk shit with me, and come enjoy. And if you can, give us a little something. All right. So now that we're done with that, y'all ready for some ass kickings?
All right.
Just got my ass kicked.
Well,
this is not my. This is not my.
Now and the excuses start.
Yeah,
Here we go.
Well, this was my first day.
This is his game.
Exactly. It's not, because he has not even played this game.
Well, he played before me.
Like an hour.
Right.
Okay,
maybe 45.
That's enough.
Like an hour.
That's enough, apparently. But I almost kicked his ass.
All right, I'm going in.
We're playing first.
I guess we're playing this.
So right now we are playing Tekken first, and as we're playing Tekken, I'm going to be asking a couple questions. But before we even go into the questions, I got some hot topics I wanted to kind of discuss with y'all. So as you know, the first thing I want to talk about. Our queen mother has finally landed.
That's y'all queen.
Wow. No, I'm just playing. She's not my queen either, but
I was playing that techno girl.
I just wanted to troll. Right. But no, Beyonce has finally started releasing Act 1 of Renaissance. And the only reason why I'm even bringing her up in this type of chat is because the anime fan base is going crazy with the transformation girls that I've seen, and they've had Sailor Moon transforming under Alien Superstar, I believe the song was, and they're now this a trend where they're doing a whole bunch of people that transform, girls that transform into their costumes, and that song is playing in the background. Really? It's everything. I like it.
Okay, I need to see this little trend there.
So one they had Roger from American Dad.
Yeah,
that was funny. She was so nice.
So we can definitely tell that the anime fans and the game fans were looking for this and waiting to bring that into the mix, So I guess my first question is, what are we expecting from her right now?
I don't like the fact that people were saying that it was going to be a house album because it's not a house album.
No, it's not.
It's not.
It's a fun album.
It's definitely fun, but it's not house. And some people are like, well, this isn't good house music because she's not doing house music. Mm-hmm. She literally was doing this during COVID or some shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing that in the message that people are missing. Like artists like Beyonce and even Nicki Minaj with her crazy ass are intentional about like things that they put out. Even if it is just like to rile up the fans in any type of way or to actually send a message, they are very intentional with what they are putting out. And I think Beyonce is doing nothing different than just that. Like, I think this is a fun album. I think that if anything, with everything we have going on, that's exactly what we need right now. You know, like there's a lot of bullshit that's going on. And I think that she's addressing it, but in a way where it doesn't seem so serious, you know, because I think that we go through a lot of serious things as it is. Like monkeypox is, I can't stress it, y'all. Monkeypox is real. And the shit is scary. Mm-hmm. And on top of COVID, on top of the financial situations that we're going through, the wars that we're going through, it's a lot going on. So why not just make a fun album that kind of takes you away from that?
Yeah, I thought it's definitely an experimental album, if anything. Mm-hmm. She was experimenting with different sounds. I mean, there's sounds of house in there. There's sounds of like just straight up experimental music. There's R&B. There's everything. And I had to listen to it a couple of times.
Same.
The same way, like, you know, because if for Break My Soul to come out and just if that's what it was all going to be given, then I probably wouldn't have been as inclined. But after listening to it and listening to the different songs, there were a lot of things I really did appreciate about it. Vocally, I definitely appreciate the things that she was trying and doing, especially at this point in her career. Mm-hmm. You know, being 40, being around as long as she has, and tapping into these different parts of her voice, whether we've seen like in the last couple of years her tapping into the lower register, but some of the things that she was just doing, I mean, you definitely hear that. It's
just not normal Beyonce.
Yeah, it's not normal Beyonce. You can hear that more of that Brandy influence.
But I think honestly that, like, I think that again, it's all intentional. Like, we all know Beyonce could sing the house down. Like, regardless of who you compare her to, her by herself, she sing the house down. She didn't sing like we normally would want her to sing on this album. But again, I think that's intentional. I loved it. Plastic on the Sofa, she sung that down. That's my favorite song on the CD.
Those transitions,
the transitions between were great. She didn't do too much. It just she let the music kind of speak for itself. Because that was the thing that I think that also too with when they were trying to compare her album to Drake's, is that musicality wise, she has it. She don't have to do much. The music by itself was enough for me. Like, she didn't have to, like, the low registers and all that. I knew that was going to be the case because she's Beyonce. She don't have to do too much. You've heard her sing. Yeah. And to add to that, one more thing, there's 2 more CDs that are about to come out. At least one of those, I'm just making a theory. One of those CDs are going to be a ballad. There's going to be a ballad CD. We have a fun CD. She's going to put out a CD where she's going to be
2 more.
Yeah,
I thought
it's a trilogy.
2.
It's a trilogy.
Oh wow, that's cool.
That's a trilogy. It's a trilogy. That was named before Break My Soul came out. Okay, it's a trilogy. Okay, but I think that one of these CDs is outside, or one of these albums outside of this one is going to definitely be a ballad, kind of like how she did with I Am and Sasha Fierce.
Yeah, and I think the other 2 albums are going to be a little bit more intentional. Like Jamal was saying, like it's very experimental right now for this album, and I can see like her just being in the studio during COVID, drunk as hell, and singing these songs and having so much fun. But I feel like the other 2 albums are going to be a little bit more intentional.
Yeah, and more. I guess for me, intentional. She's intentional with this album too, and I say that in the space of I don't think it's experimental. I just think that she made a CD for femininity more than anything.
I mean, she always does that though.
Yeah, but feminine. She's always done it when it comes to women. She understands that femininity comes in all different spectrums. Why do you think we have this? And it's an actual for real Vogue song. It's not like cheapy or like what's the word? Campy or anything like that. It's I love it. Like that's what I was waiting on, because I'm waiting on that, at least with Pure Honey. I was waiting on it to be very gimmicky. No, it was not. Like it was an authentic Vogue track that I could actually hear in ballroom. And I think that throughout the whole CD, she's just really tapping in and understanding that femininity, yes, comes from women, but it's put out in so many different ways.
Yeah. And obviously she talked about the influence from her own uncle and things like that. And I think she's in a place now, and I mean people can criticize whatever because at the same time everybody I guess can't be is in tune with all their fans or whatever. Timing looks different for everyone because Beyonce has been a gay icon, especially for the Black gay community for a while, but obviously she wasn't necessarily, that wasn't a forefront thing for her.
Absolutely.
So now at this point in her career,
she kind of made it that way.
She can tap into it or like own that in a different way that other artists have been doing their whole career, and more power to them. People like Cher, people like Madonna, even Janet, who've always owned and appreciated their gay fans in a more public way that necessarily Beyonce hasn't always done. But I'm here for it. I like it. I like what it's given. I listened to it like twice as I've been driving like these last 2 days everywhere, and I did appreciate it. I like it, and I'm interested what the next two are going to be like.
Is there a visual album out yet for this?
Not yet.
Okay.
They're
I feel like I saw a video for something.
You see like a snippet maybe?
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god.
But that's even like the thing on TikTok. Like a lot of people are waiting because my roommate was just asking me like, why haven't I seen a lot of Beyonce like TikTok videos? That's because they're waiting on these visuals so they can decide like what challenge they can make from them and things like that. Like people are not. That's the same thing that they did with Break My Soul. That's why there isn't a challenge for that either. Yeah. My girls.
This one.
My girl's here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that one. She is so annoying.
My girl's here. She's not coming. She's not going nowhere, babes. Blue. Sorry, we're actually in the middle of playing Tekken right now, just so you guys know, for those that are not able to see the screen at this moment. And I'm over here wailing.
Kicking him all over the place.
Oh, block. Ow.
Damn, okay.
She's not going to play.
She was good.
All right, so now outside of Beyonce, since we kind of like got that all out of our system, because I just feel like we had to mention her. I mean, I just felt like it, especially since like, no, she's not to me, it wasn't my favorite album, but it was a good ass album.
Still a good album.
Yeah,
It was good. I like, and again, I think it's because like you can definitely listen to it for me from front to back. There were a couple songs like Plastic on the Sofa I love by itself, but I love the transition that it goes in from Virgo's Groove, like into Virgo's Groove. I love that transition
song so much.
Yeah.
Love that transition. But
and I was also gonna quickly point out too, like when you are at a certain point, like in your career and stuff too, like you're supposed to like experiment and do things like this too. Like if Beyonce, I mean, I guess maybe at a certain point if she gave us something that was totally throwback and whatever, that'd be cool too. But you're supposed to evolve and change, and you listen to different things, and you're influenced by different things. If somebody was making the same albums every year, that wouldn't be interesting.
it's not. I mean, no shade. That's kind of where Nicki Minaj is at now. No shade. We
Yeah.
love her down, but that's. And I can say the same thing for Rihanna too. Like I always say that like a lot of people like Anti, but I always say that it was lazy. It was lazy because a lot of the songs that she had could have been like her interludes could have definitely been songs.
Yeah.
There was one song I always mentioned that that was actually my favorite Rihanna song, period. And I found out that it was wrote by she copied it literally from somebody else.
Same Old Mistakes?
Yes.
Oh, Tame Impala?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally how I found out who Tame Impala was
Really?
literally listening to her, listening to that song. And when I first heard the song, loved it. Like it was my favorite. It was so out of like her norm. I'm like, this don't even sound like you, but I love this song. And found out that from front to back, she took that song. I'm sure that they talked about it and all that.
They gave her permission.
But like that proves my point. Like as an artist, I don't think that you don't get the I guess leeway to do something like that. Like you have to be original. Like that's what we expect from you.
Because it was like exactly the same.
So I've seen people copy or do samples, like Beyonce samples down all the time, but to do like a front to back. And it just so happens that my favorite Rihanna song is somebody else's song. Like
I know.
So that let me know that like Anti was very just like let me just do something. That's why y'all ain't gonna get y'all not getting no music from Rihanna.
Don't say that.
Y'all not getting no music from Rihanna. I promise you.
No.
She keep talking about this reggae album that's supposed to have been out 3 years ago.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, we get it, Rihanna. You want to blame it on COVID. That's why you ain't put it out. It's fine. But we know that you're not giving us nothing. Yeah. All right.
So what
You owe us an album.
What you say? What you see?
What you say? You heard what the fuck I said.
Where is it?
Where is it? All right. So next topic. Outside of the whole entertainment aspect of things, there was I'm sorry. Let me actually, because I actually oh yeah.
Games coming out and everything.
Yeah. So
What we got coming out?
oh so yeah, I do want to talk about games and shows that are coming out. I know personally that there are some games that are coming out that I'm definitely looking forward to. I actually bought my Switch, and I don't even like Switch, but I actually bought a Switch because there are a few games. Oh yeah.
Sorry, that's all that.
I guess
that threw me off. That threw me off, Bob.
They have an
Who's Bob?
American character.
Bob whoops ass though.
Huh?
Bob whoops ass
I
though.
want to see.
He actually is somebody that I hate going against with her.
Why?
Because the person that I know that know how to play with him, we would go back and forth with that one. But no, so there are a few games that I'm excited about coming out. One Piece has a game called One Piece Odyssey. It's a turn-based game that I'm looking forward to, but not looking forward to because it's turn-based, and I think that turn-based games like RPGs are.
Yeah, you don't like them.
I don't like turn-based no more. Please cancel turn-based games.
No. What is wrong with you?
Cancel them.
And that's gonna be on Switch.
That's I wouldn't be surprised, but I believe it is on Xbox and PS4. You know I ain't like that. I ain't gonna cheat you.
All right, let's do this.
Oh, I'm not.
A little bit faster than I thought.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bitch.
I'm just
None of that shit.
Okay.
Let's open this up.
Keep it.
Bow. Ooh. Bow. Bow.
Wow.
He is so
They are
mad.
in mid combat.
He is so mad.
Sorry. I'm sorry, y'all. I was in the middle of a conversation, but he was trying to whoop my ass.
Ooh.
I thought I was gonna get that one. Like, ooh, he wasn't quick enough.
Yeah,
He was not quick enough.
Bob's weight is holding him down.
Man, Bob gonna rip them pants.
Okay, he already ripped the knee. Look at it. The knees are out. And as he keep moving, the motherfuckers are going to be hoochie daddy by the end of the round.
That's a perfect. Okay.
Talk about his
He's like, wait, what?
bow. Oh, nah, nigga.
You beat up by a nigga named Bob.
What's your name, B.O.B.?
Can I call him Bob?
Like a nigga named
Hold
Bob. Just sounds like he's bad.
All right, I know y'all tired of getting y'all ass in a second.
Yeah,
I'm sorry with this one.
Yeah.
I just did this to humor you.
Oh wow,
Right, it was
damn.
really me. That was the only one I could play. Yeah. So what? So
So if it's
One
not
Piece is coming
games,
out.
if it's not games that are coming out, what shows are you looking for? Fictional shows. That are
The new Lord of the Rings
That new Lord of the Rings show.
show that's gonna
This
be
is the
on
Ring
Amazon.
of Power.
The Ring of Power.
Ring of Power.
What network is that?
Prime. It's gonna be a Prime.
It's a Prime show.
Yeah, I'm looking
It's
forward to it.
it's how we got here, basically.
Oh, prequel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's going all the way up to the original war, though.
Yeah.
I'm so sick.
That first war, Elrond, like, you know, when he was young, everything.
That actually poses a good question. What is wrong with America and not like? I know we probably talk about this every podcast, but I just get irritated why America just feels the need to always recreate.
Yeah.
Or
It's
make
not over.
or prequel things. Like we don't need to know. We don't care.
No,
I don't care.
Nostalgia is cash. You got to remember, majority of the stuff that we grew up on, a lot of us couldn't get into it at the time because we didn't have the money to, or the technology didn't make it as good as it should have been the first time. Like as much as because we grew up on the Lion King, hate the live action version of the Lion King.
Yes.
The live action version, 9 times out of 10, was supposed to be the original way they were going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But because technology couldn't do it, it had to be animated. Disney wants to make every generation, for an example, have their own way of experiencing something. That's why when you got the original Cinderella, it was a cartoon. But then they bring you a live action version of it. Then they gave us a black one.
But then even in that,
then now they're even updated it again with second and third parts of the story. Now to get to the point where Disney is like, okay, we're tired of telling the same stories. Let's tell it from the villain's point of view.
Yeah.
I hope you guys can hear this, man.
So you get,
He always comes and chimes in our conversation. This is
look, fam, I got wireless headsets. I want to use mine too. Okay, that's why now you got movies like Maleficent. Whereas we're tired of that story, but hearing it from her point of view, the number one Disney villain in history. Now you're not a villain to us anymore.
Yeah.
We sympathize with you now.
I guess I could get that because Maleficent was good when we heard it from her story.
Right.
Did I care about it in the actual animated?
No.
Because in the actual anime, all it was a woman who rolled up on the king was like, "Hey, fam, you cursed. Your daughter cursed." But that was it.
But then how do you explain?
But
how do you explain the Lion King then? Because the Lion King is literally front to back the same.
It's the same story, but that's them testing technology.
If they did a Scar, I would definitely be
and that's I think it's next.
Ooh,
and that will be next.
The Scar looked a mess.
Because I think the Scar would be the next story. Because when you think about it, they tried to be a little bit more accurate with this one, which is why certain characters who they were picking certain people for voice actors. And
yeah,
I don't want my Nala sounding like she's from the South Side of Houston.
Right.
No disrespect.
Are you with me, Lions?
She had like 11 extra lines. I'm like, when did Nala talk?
When did Nala say this? Where does extra song come from?
Why
you got a whole soundtrack by yourself?
So don't be mad at me,
Money.
but I have not watched the live action.
A lot of people did.
You didn't need
a lot of people did.
I didn't want it to mess up my nostalgia.
Like, be honest with you, if you ever want to watch another movie that's a different version of Lion King, just watch Lion King 1.5.
Yeah, watch the other ones.
Oh yeah,
that's the only one because literally it tells the same story from Timon and Pumbaa's point of view.
Yeah, I actually watched that one too,
and I liked it because it made me
Lion King too.
I like the songs. Yeah,
you like the songs. The Disney will always give you fire ass songs.
Right. And a lot of those songs are from the play.
Shit. Go over.
Which I've never seen before. I've never seen the musical.
And the music.
Like which one are you looking for?
Either Soul Calibur or
go here. And then go down.
So
it's right there.
I see Soul Calibur.
Well, Soul Calibur, where's Naruto?
Come on.
Oh,
and then I couldn't.
I got fun because Naruto is not physically on the system.
I was about to say.
I have to.
Oh my God, Cuphead.
That game is so hard.
Yo, and my 9-year-old and 6-year-old daughter be going in on this game. They know all the tricks and everything.
It's so hard.
They sat down and they went on YouTube and they figured out some shit.
It's harder than Elden Ring is hard. To me, it was. I think
like
we passed the first fucking board.
I watched my nieces and nephews play. I'm like,
real talk, where did it just go?
I thought you had it.
I did. I was playing it a minute ago. Because it's in my the way PlayStation.
Sabotage.
Basically, they moved it to the PlayStation Plus collection. Like it's in here now. Because basically, PlayStation and PlayStation redid their whole Plus to mimic that of what's the word I'm looking for? Xbox. Yeah, those people.
Oh.
Yeah, those people.
Those people.
Well, while he's getting that in order, I'm going to ask a couple more questions. So,
y'all need to see
I mean, I guess that's one of the shows that you're looking forward to.
Yeah, I would say that, and like pretty much just all the stuff that I'm watching already. Like, I don't really know too much of what's coming out, but clearly locked into P Valley. I'm locked into The Boys. I guess when the next season of The Boys come out,
I gotta start the second season. I gotta start.
And Invincible when that comes.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're getting. Are we getting a season 2?
Yeah, we got. They're renewed for 2 and 3.
Yeah, they're good.
They were renewed at the end of season 1.
When are we getting it? It's been like 2 years almost.
You got to remember they got it animated and then what's the word I'm looking for? COVID fucked it up. COVID fucked up a lot of production, so it took a minute. Why are y'all making me subscribe to something I already got?
Maybe it's the wrong user.
That's what it is. That's why I can't find it.
There was another
flight controller.
There was another animated show that was on Prime, I think, too, and only had 1 season. It was like an adult animated show too, and they were
like
like,
talking about that like League of Legends.
no, they were like a troop of like mythical creatures,
That's why
and they were like fighting like demons or something. I don't even know, but it was good. And I only had one show. And
Vox Machina, maybe.
Maybe let me try to look for it. But it only had one season, and I randomly came across it, and it was.
Like, please let me know.
Yeah, let me know what that is.
One good anime
On Prime.
On Prime.
Yeah, and that was Invisible for me too. I personally am looking forward to a lot. There's definitely, especially in the fall, a lot of anime that I'm looking forward to. Bleach being one of them.
November, right?
Oh my god. October.
Okay.
October 21st, if I'm not mistaken.
Ooh, that's gonna be a good week.
It's gonna be a good. No, October is gonna be a good month for a lot of anime because
that's usually when they have new anime coming out.
My Hero's coming out with season 6. To Your Eternity's coming out. Season 2 will be out in October.
Okay.
Oh, you didn't see the trailer for that?
Ready to cry again.
Oh, the trailer is so good. It's set 10 years later.
Oh shit!
Mm-hmm.
I gotta read the.
So now, like, I guess he's like not really feeling
the world.
His creator.
Oh.
He know his creator is on some bullshit. So like for the last 10 years, he's just been like not paying him no mind. The Nookers are still killing people and shit. He not doing anything about it.
That name, by the way.
Yeah, Nookers is such a stupid.
It's real close. I'm like,
no, Anthony Brown.
The Nick.
Play on like
I think.
It might be.
Because sometimes anime be dogging the fuck out of black people. Sometimes, but
like how they beat the shit out of that man in Jujutsu Kaisen movie.
I didn't see the movie yet.
Oh yeah, it was one scene where Gojo beat the shit out of this black man,
2K.
and like he was a villain. But like as I'm watching it, I'm rooting for Gojo, and he gets to the black man. I'm like, ugh, you don't have to do him like that. And I think a lot of people felt the same way. It was like, damn, you had to beat his ass like that. But
he went in on the black man.
Yeah, he did.
But no, To Your
Eternity is definitely coming back season 2. My Hero Academia is season 6. Attack on Titan Part 3 is coming out.
Yep.
Bleach is coming back. There's a lot of new ones that's actually coming back as well. So yeah, I'm excited for anime this fall. I've been sitting, doing okay, just watching One Piece. I'm almost done with that. Thank God.
Oh wow, it's been like almost.
I literally just finally crossed the 1,000 episode threshold.
How long has it taken you to get that far? Because I feel like you just started like earlier this year.
I remember me and Guns was just talking about
last episode.
On the last episode. No, we were on a group chat just talking about a part of the show that I was at, and then I had to realize that when he had got there, that was like almost a year ago.
That was almost okay.
So yeah,
like almost a year to get caught up. And then again, I'm watching these supposed to be watching these back to back, so I'm not waiting every week, but it's so many fucking episodes. But these last few episodes have definitely been good. I ain't gonna lie. I'll get into it one day.
The animation has been way better. Not gonna lie. And I think they're at like 1,026. I'm at like 1,003. So I'm almost done.
Good for you.
That's why I haven't been stressing about all the weak anime that's been coming out because I've just been watching One Piece.
Right. I have to get back into anime because I just finished what is now like my favorite series in the world, Stranger Things. I started,
and I kind of feel bad.
I can't get into it.
Oh, what are you doing, man? It's so good.
I can't do it.
Stranger Things is so good. So I was one of those people where I was just like, I'm not watching it. And my friend's like, I'm so surprised you don't watch it. You are so into that stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't think I can get into it because like the first couple episodes, I'm like, what the fuck?
I still haven't watched it
yet.
I
can't get past the first 2 episodes.
You gotta get past the first 5. Yeah. That's like really just introducing like what's.
Do they recap at the beginning of every episode?
No.
They just keep going.
No,
like, it's one. I was able to watch
because
it.
if they recap, then I'll jump to 5 and just let the recap fill me in.
Right.
Nah.
No.
I'm just waiting.
You just gotta watch it, man. It's good. The same way that Guns was pressuring me to watch One Piece, and I don't regret it now. Watch Stranger Things.
I
it's
probably
good.
will. I just can't get past it.
There's a lot of character
I was
development.
like that with The Shot. I could not get past the very first episode, but then after I got past it,
it was good.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Like literally,
just get past the 5. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Not to mention, but Stranger Things, everything.
Yes.
Like, and then I was like
It took me a
you.
week to
I
watch it.
I was like you with because I had watched the first 3 seasons, and then everybody was just giving it like season 4 just so much hype and the songs. You know that damn song is playing on the
I love
radio,
that song.
and I love the song
I
now.
love that song so much.
I love the song now, but like I finally watched it, cried and everything.
Yes.
I cried and everything.
Those kids be going
through
through
it.
it. I'm like,
and then this
Jesus.
last season, dog, this last season was no joke.
And I cannot wait until season 5. The way it ended, such good writing.
Yeah. And then it was supposed to be season 4 was supposed to be the last season, but like season 5, I think is definitely it needs to end honestly by season 5.
I think it has to be the last.
It has to be the last season.
Because the way
there's
it
nothing
ended,
else to deal with at this point. We're literally at the end. They're literally about to destroy the city at this point.
they can't even catch a break, dude.
They can't. Like you see how quick that shit happened.
They hugged and then that was it.
And that was it. You seen like the snow fall, the shit falling.
Right.
I'm like, oh
They
shit.
couldn't take a shower. They couldn't do nothing.
Nothing.
They just had to.
They literally
go back
just
into
met
it.
back up. And that was even heartfelt for me too. Like when they all met back up, I was like, oh
great.
thank you.
Oh, great! And then I saw that shit. I was like,
Fuck. It's literally how it was. It's literally how it was. And then like the whole city seeing the shit now. So it's going to be a good ass season.
It's
going to be a good season.
someone said that it's based off of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
That is a movie that I'm waiting for.
Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes. The way
It's a
it
movie
look-
or a series?
It's a movie. It looks good.
So it would be like the board, but it would be live.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
They actually are fleshing out the characters. And then, of course, I'm definitely happy for season 2 of Chucky.
Oh.
I haven't watched the first one. I don't
If
know
I had a
shit.
sound bar,
There's a
I would
season.
go boom, 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 boom.
I grew up loving
I love
horror
Chucky.
movies.
He's
So
funny.
the fact that the Chucky series is not a reboot, it's literally taking the last 3 movies and making them relevant.
Okay.
Because the show is like going on in between each one of these movies.
This is exactly what I was talking about. Stop remaking shit.
It's not
Like, just
Stop
leave it.
retelling shit.
I don't
Well, that's
look
how I
at
feel
that-
about Halloween.
I don't
Yeah.
look at
Yes,
that-
like
It's
Halloween. When did it?
I thought it was done.
Ago.
I thought it was done. Oh my god.
I don't look
Okay.
at the Chucky series as a retelling. I just look at it as what Disney is doing with Marvel and Disney Plus. That's how I look at it, because that's basically it's like if
I
you
gotta
watch the
give you-
movies and where
I'm
these
just
things
button
are
pushing at
happening,
this point.
it
are you?
makes it make
I am.
sense where movie
I thought you knew
4
how to play.
went to movie 5 and movie
It
5
Might come
went
back
to movie
but
6.
I don't know.
and all the characters from each one of
Circle,
those
it's like
movies
how you
have an
attack.
intricate part in the middle.
Triangle,
So it feels like a
it's how you
big,
charge.
huge Chucky verse in so many
That's how
words.
you self-
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not here
You
for
can't do
it,
that
boss.
again.
I'm a horror fan.
I guess. I mean, I'm a horror fan too, but like, Hereditary is my favorite scary movie. But I would be mad if they gave me another side of that story.
But see, I think that's where Chucky is different because it's from the slasher era.
Ooh.
So it was less about, hey, I'm scared that this
But-
doll may really happen, to more about, let's see how this doll is going to fuck this person up. That's what we were more about. Because at the end of the day, the basic story was
Oh,
like, hey, bro,
charging up.
I'm stuck in
I
this
like
doll
that.
body.
Like,
I'm
you
a
got a
serial
whole
killer.
triangle, and then you do.
If I tell you who I am, I can take your body over. Common sense was like, let me go find me a dumb motherfucking jump. You know, I can get them instead of go. Like you specifically are picking these problem people. If you watch the first season, it's actually very comical. In the sense of it, it does go back to a lot of stuff. It does give Charles Lee Ray a little bit of
Ooh.
backstory, but it's like very small. It's not like we're gonna spend our whole time on why he's like this. Just a little small piece.
I just can't. But I'm like that in general. Like,
That's
I just
me.
am not a big like retelling of stories. And if I do, the story has to be phenomenal for me to even want to hear it from another side. Gotcha.
Well, let me ask you this question since we're here and we're talking video games. How do you feel about movies that are being based on video games, but now they're putting forth an effort to be more accurate to the games?
Well, I'll tell you this.
What did
Not
not
Shia LaBeouf. What is dude's name that played? I think I mentioned this before, but what is his name that played in Inception? He
Leo?
not Leo, but he was like one of the good guys on.
Sorry, I was
on
trying to
the
listen to
movie.
the conversation.
Caucasian dude, black hair.
I know who you're talking about.
I just don't know his name. When you find his name, let me know. But basically, he was on a show. He did an interview, and they were talking. I guess it was
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yes,
I knew exactly who you're talking about.
Him. So he was doing an interview, and they asked him the same exact. Well, they asked him this question like, movies and games are kind of like having a correlation together, where they're doing games based off of shows and movies. Do you think that movies are going to be the same moving forward now that games have kind of like taken over in that space? And he said exactly what I'm going to say, and I kind of agree with him. I think that storytelling and games are going to take over from movies. I really do, because a lot of the stories, a lot of people sleep on, and I'm big on storytelling, but a lot of people sleep on stories in games that actually happened. Death Stranding being one of them.
What the fuck?
Death Stranding, I cannot see that as a movie. It has to be a game.
That game was iffy at best to me.
Really? See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I guess that just is.
But it's also the gaming world is different.
Yeah.
Like, we can like what we like in the gaming world, and there's something for us. So when something different comes out, and like I said, that game is iffy to me. I can't sit there and play it. But meanwhile, I'm also the same dude that gave 8 years to Destiny. So like we just.
But do you? Okay, so I guess that's also the thing too. Like when people play games, they don't necessarily look to the story as much.
Some do, because like Detroit Becoming Human.
Like,
okay, yeah, I love that story. But it's a story that's been done a lot. Because if you really look down at Detroit Become Human, it's Westworld. It's Westworld. This right here. The way that the game made me more engaged in these three characters appealed to me more than Westworld.
Keeping up with me, shit.
Now it could be because the actors in the show, you see the actors like. Leonardo DiCaprio will always be Leonardo DiCaprio in every damn thing he do. We'll never see who he playing. Whereas in the game, we may not even know this person until they do something else. You know? And that's why when we get famous people who do roles in video games now, especially now technology really makes you see them, we kind of gravitate to the story a little bit more.
I mean, I can hear that.
But there are some games that have phenomenal stories. Mass Effect had a really good story, believe it or not.
Yes, I agree with that. But I can say the same thing. Again, you know how I am about Nier. I say that's my favorite story of all time. Elden Ring, believe it or not, is a very good story.
Hell, let's go to GOAT. Final Fantasy games have great stories.
Not all of them.
True.
Not all of them.
Not all of them. But then that's when I think they focus more on the gameplay and less on the story.
But that's what I told Guns in the chat that as well when I was explaining to him about like storytelling and things like that. Like Final Fantasy, the franchise used to be one of my favorite franchises, but it was more so because the characters look cool. Yeah. You know, the magic and the presentation of all that was always cool. The summons were good, all of that. But the stories, especially like as the titles kept climbing, the stories diminished.
With the exception of God of War.
I'm talking about on a Final Fantasy. Oh, okay. Right, God of War, absolutely.
God of War,
one of the best stories
has actually
Horizon Zero Dawn. One of the best stories. Yeah. I don't feel like, and that goes back to what I was saying. Like, I do not feel like a lot of games that have good stories running for a bit for me. A lot of the stories that are in games don't resonate good as movies. Yeah, they just don't.
Horizon would be a good movie though.
Or I think Horizon would be a good movie.
You know what would be a good, like, since we were talking horror and it dawned on me, The Last of Us as a movie.
Yeah, I will watch that.
Would be a good movie.
I will watch that. I will watch Horizon Zero Dawn too because the stories are not. I will say that there are certain stories that you can only experience in gaming. I love Nier to death. I will never watch it as a movie.
As an anime, maybe.
But they're actually making an anime adaptation for automata.
I think one game.
Yeah, I think you turned yourself up.
Game that had a good story that failed as a movie was Uncharted because they made I didn't like the movie.
But that goes back to my previous story, whereas they don't translate games to movies correctly anymore.
Yeah, I was like, what is this?
Like, look, Resident Evil.
Oh my God, I was
is
just
the
about to
number
say
one
that.
example
So bad.
of a terrible translation.
I only watched
Like
20
there's,
minutes.
don't get me wrong, I get it. You want to have your own little thing to say this is ours, but
Yeah.
the fact
Still gotta
that
say true.
every single game was based around Alice, who never existed in any of the franchises, is what bothered me.
Yeah.
At that point in
Right.
time, just take the Resident Evil name off of it,
Yeah.
Right.
because at that it's not even about that.
No, I agree.
But then when they did this last version of it, it was so bad. It was literally 1, 2, and Code Veronica all together, which was the best story for Resident Evil,
yeah.
and you dropped the ball.
How
on
far
it.
did you get?
I finished it.
Code
Really?
Veronica.
I couldn't.
I finished Code
couldn't.
Veronica.
I've been finished all them.
Those were, but that's
I
when.
played them in the OG.
That's what I'm
No,
saying.
no, I'm talking about the new
The-
Resident Evil.
I finished the whole thing,
Oh, no.
all the way up.
I only
to
got 20
Whistler.
minutes.
I can't play 7 or 8 because
20
they're
It's a whole new
third person.
world. It's a whole new world. It's a
20
whole new
minutes.
game.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
but I
yeah.
saw the Uncharted. I'm like, what is this? This has nothing to do with anything. Blah blah blah. God of War would be a good movie. I think Assassin's Creed. Did they make a movie out of that?
They did an Assassin's Creed movie.
Well,
That
I
had a
don't
good
think
story
and
for
I
me
don't think
too.
it did
Nothing
good
of
either.
it.
Oh, they did. It
That's
was. They
unfortunate,
did.
too.
They
Because
did.
that was a good game for me.
Yeah.
For a while, then it,
They just
it
don't.
started
They
going
just don't
everywhere, but-
resonate very well as
Mhm.
story or as movies like that.
Sonic movie doing
I think a lot
I
of
have
it
not seen a
has.
Sonic movie yet.
I like them.
I like
They're
it.
good.
They're
But
good.
the thing about it is, the Sonic movie, what more could you do? Like,
Yeah.
this is-
Well,
The
Shadow's gonna be
story
the next
itself.
one.
The story itself is going to explain itself. The problem that everybody was having it was the character design. Remember when they
Yeah.
killed the first character design?
No. Okay, I know you hate remixes, right? But if you got a chance, go watch the Chip and Dale remake on Disney.
Someone
There
told me to
is a
watch it
remake
too.
on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone else told me to watch it. I'm like, wow.
Watch it. Basically, what they did was they basically said that behind the scenes, Dale wanted to do his own thing, so he went and applied for a pilot to be like a Chipmunk 007. Word got out about that they canceled Chip and Dale. So now Dale has been doing these little Comic-Con like pop-ups, right? Ugly Sonic is there.
Oh, I did see it. I did see the trailer. I did see.
Ugly Sonic is there. It's
Oh my
funny as hell. So basically, in this day and age, since we're talking about the Lion King prime example, body augmentations, like when people get breast implants and stuff, in cartoons, they get CGI'd. So some of the characters are CGI, while some of them are still in cartoon form.
Okay, I will watch
Okay, I'm gonna watch
that.
it today.
So it's funny how they did it, because Baloo is CGI.
How?
Just watch
Okay,
it.
that sounds
That's-
trippy.
Just watch
That
it.
sounds like
bro.
all
It's
over the
funny
place.
as- Funny as hell, dog. Think when you see CGI, think of Lion King
Yeah.
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
they CGI.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how
So
did
some
they
characters are CGI.
Oh, but they
some
did do a
characters are
Jungle
cartoon.
Book where no, he wasn't CGI in the actual movie.
Yes, he was.
Was
Who?
he?
They did a live action Jungle Book.
Yes, they did.
No, I know they
They
did.
did like two of them. Like
They
one
I thought it was
was
actually pretty good.
No, they did a Mowgli.
yeah, that one I
Yes,
loved.
The
live-
Mowgli one was good.
Yeah, the
Story
actual
was
Jungle
good.
Book wasn't as good as
I don't even
Mowgli
remember how
to
to
me.
play no more.
Because that's a great
Oh, man.
story, and I feel like the Mowgli did it great. The Jungle Book was okay because it was more Disney. Because the Mowgli one wasn't Disney. I
No,
think it was,
they wasn't Disney, but they took a different
Yeah.
direction with
and it
the
was so
story,
good.
and it was good, especially with what's the
I'm about to
Panther?
go watch that again.
What's the Panther's
Um,
name?
You like
I
this.
forgot.
You like this.
yes.
You
But
like
the way they had,
Yeah, I
the way they
forgot.
did his story
You like
about
this.
why
Yes.
he's the way he
Yes.
is,
Yeah.
and why he really wanted to kill
You
Mowgli.
like this shit.
What about the tiger?
Yeah,
Oh, Shao Kahn.
Shao Kahn. Yeah,
How the fuck do I even hit my? How do I attack?
Or is it
I'm not
Shadow
letting
Kahn?
you.
I don't know.
it doesn't
I
matter.
think
if
it's
it's
Shadow.
Shao Kahn.
Because Shao Kahn's from Mortal Kombat, but the name sounds the same.
Shadow Khan. Oh my god.
Fucking hate
Shadow
Naruto.
Khan.
Sounds more Indian.
List of movies
Thank you for indulging.
based on games.
What's another game?
You know what's crazy? Super Mario Brothers, hands down, worst game adaptation movie.
But they're
ever.
remaking that.
What? They had a movie?
They're remaking it. And it's going to
Oh,
man, it
yeah.
is horrible.
80s
Well, you talking about like the old 80s
Yeah.
one? I like that one.
It's not like it has a.
It was just comical
Yeah.
to me. I didn't take
But
it
you
serious.
have to remember, at that time, that was our introduction to video game movies. This is pre.
Nah, the way that you say that about that is the same way I feel about Ninja Turtle movies.
Horrible.
Them Ninja Turtle movies
They
were
were bad.
horrible.
They suck.
They were bad too.
If that's the case, you definitely could cancel all them Ninja Turtle
But
movies. Not the new ones, the older ones.
But those are two movies that are prime examples of. Yeah, I think y'all need to remake these.
Or even the original Mortal Kombat, which still was great, but
The
it
new
was
one,
obviously
the new
90s.
one's not that bad either.
I like the older one
horrible.
better than the new one.
The older ones are top tier.
Better than
Yeah.
the new one.
But Mortal Kombat is another prime example where the last 3 installments of the game gave you a fantastic story.
I need to play this shit by myself because this bitch whooping my ass.
Bitch.
Mind you guys, we are playing Naruto and I hate this game so much.
That's a
But
good game.
just because he appeased me, I'm gonna appease him too and just run around and
You know, a game that I
Act like I'm doing
liked
something.
when I had PS3 because there was a time where I was keeping up with games and then
That's
I
the game
stopped.
is like $20 on the
Yeah.
three.
Hell yeah.
I miss those days,
Yeah.
cheap ass games.
I stopped.
Yeah.
And when you would buy it, it would come with a game sometimes.
You got the whole game, not here's the game, but we're gonna go ahead and see.
but you gotta pay for the DLC in order to access.
See, that's
Yeah,
the
and as
shit
soon as
I
you
don't
open the game, it's
understand.
gonna be like 4 patches to download before you can play.
I don't get that.
Right.
That's that new stuff.
Because we beta tested y'all.
But I feel like PS3 was really that
Don't look to the side.
shifting things.
I'm paying attention to
He goes, I look at him, he looks to the side like
Because do you remember Heavenly Sword?
Yeah.
Oh, I gave you
No,
game.
That
so
was-
short.
That was
I beat
the
it in a
perfect
couple hours.
answer to God of War.
Yes.
Perfect
Yes.
answer. And they're supposed to be doing a part 2 based on her side.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what
But they
happened.
dropped the ball because I beat it in a couple hours. I could never beat God of War.
That
in
was
a
like
day.
the only game I think my wife ever beat. Was Heavenly Sword.
I could never beat God of War in a
She
day.
would come home from school.
You like
and
that
that's the first
overwhelming
thing she played.
conflict.
Yeah,
with the
like,
game.
I remember
I've never
that.
seen that before. I've never seen that one before.
He beat the shit. The shit.
I said
out
I
of
was
me.
going
With
to.
Brock Lesnar. I'm not playing that. What the fuck?
Nobody wants to play
one
this.
It's not you. I don't know who these people
Did we
are.
have
Can we play?
No.
Oh, wow.
Did we have Smash Bros or no?
Y'all can play.
I couldn't make that $60
Oh, yeah, that's
happen.
right.
I gotta use the bathroom anyway.
I'm not mad at you.
Y'all can play.
That $60 was gonna kill me.
Take a break.
But Heavenly Sword was a great game. I
Yes.
think it did turn into a movie.
Yeah.
Heavenly Sword was probably one of the first games that the cutscenes made it a
Mhm.
movie. I think that's exactly
And I
what they
love
did.
that.
I think they took the cutscenes and they turned it into a full
Mhm.
movie, which made video games start giving us more of the story in between.
Mhm.
Because that was a lot of video games companies' tricks to loading newer areas
Mhm.
without taking you waiting for a load screen.
Yeah. And it made sense and it was cool. And I always appreciate a nice like cutscene or story and while playing a story mode that I haven't gotten in a while and that really turned me off from playing games for a while or because everything was especially during that teenage year, like high school, going into college, like Call of Duty was just all the rage. Like that was just the thing.
I got
At
man.
this point, it
yeah.
still is.
Yeah, that
It
was
still
the
is for
thing.
real. I couldn't get into those type of games.
Yeah.
But
And I did for a bit, but it was so complicated to like be good at it. Like you had to like have this and download this thing and
I
this
think
map.
I only got into Call of Duty when I got to the Air Force, and that was what my squad did during their downtime. So, for any of those who've never been in the military, you have dorms like in college, right?
Yeah.
But every floor has a common area. And what we would do is we would literally just sync up
Mhm.
every common area. So back in the days, like it was like Call of Duty 2, you can have up to 16 people on the same server. So we would literally like, hey, floor A, we're doing Call of Duty at this time at 8 o'clock. First come, first serve.
Yeah.
First 4 people in the common area on your floor, they were in. And literally our whole building, this is what we were doing collectively in our squads. So if you ever got on lockdown, you knew that there, hey, put your Xbox in the common area. This is what we doing that day. And that's the only reason why I ever got into it. Like, I don't really care for it now because Warzone is cool. But like you said, like everything being online just doesn't
Yeah.
It's not the same to
Yeah.
me
Nah.
anymore.
It has this thing like people will like it, and then there will be a generation of people who can't get with it.
I guess because we grew up in an era where like
Things were simpler.
games came complete.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
right.
at the end of the day, we got a complete game. Maybe was the game trash? Probably, but it was the whole game was there at that point in time.
Yeah.
There was no such thing as a DLC. It was just a part 2.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah. And
The game
that's
would be
okay.
$50.
no game was 20.
Maybe.
20.
Maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say
20.
consoles wasn't even like. Remember when consoles was like $150?
If that.
If that.
Right.
I remember I looked at a newsletter where 64 was like $50 brand new. A 64.
And now they're
You know
going
that
for
games back in the days, like somebody I was watching on YouTube. Do you know Nintendo's whole library can fit on a 4 gig memory stick?
What?
Yep. They have it now. What's called a Nintendo Online, where you you could purchase like the console
Right.
for a Nintendo, Super Nintendo, 64, and Sega. The other 3, like the Super Nintendo, 64, and Sega, you have to pay extra.
Of course.
But it's like $60. But then the
Should be
membership
sold.
for it by itself, I think it was like for the whole year $12.
Because the games were not that big back then. They didn't take up no kind of space. Because I was sitting there looking at a memory card, which was so vital to gameplay,
Yeah.
that only had 12 slots on it, was a fraction of anything.
Yes.
Like so tiny. Now I can go and buy a fucking 126 gig USB stick for like $15 right now,
Yep.
and I can have every game that ever came
That's
out.
literally what I just
Free
did
PS
with my Switch.
P Sony.
Speaking of your Switch, are you gonna get Zelda or no?
That's like
I feel like
that's at the bottom of my totem pole right
I
now.
still feel like that's a requirement as a
You
Nintendo.
gotta play that one. That's a good game.
Well, I like
I just
Genshin
have a
Impact, and
Lion
everybody
King
keeps telling me
game
it's just like that. So
I used to have this Lion King game on Super Nintendo.
Oh, the hardest game ever.
Oh, I actually have it on my PlayStation. They gave me it's
Damn.
like the Disney Afternoon Collection. So it's
Yeah,
like
right,
Chip
and
and
the-
Dale, the Lion King, the Tailspins, and there's one other game in there. Yeah, that Lion King game was entirely hard for no goddamn
Is
reason
it,
whatsoever.
so as you're playing it now, is it still hard?
It's still hard because there's like a certain stage. I think it's like
Oh, got
2-2-1 where you're supposed to make these series of jumps. You can't make it. Your character cannot make this jump.
So how the fuck you supposed to get through it?
I don't know who and how people beat it without like hacking it.
is it?
I remember my brother being-
That's why.
My brother beat it once. He was screaming, crying. Like, oh my god!
But that's another thing I
The
miss
only
about old
person I
games.
think I know who
Old
actually
games
beat
are
that
so
game.
complete, and so this is what it is that you have folks doing speed runs. Like I seen somebody beat the first Mario in like 4 minutes.
How?
Damn.
Speed
Lightning.
runs.
Oh yeah, speed runs are a
that'd be
thing.
harder.
All right, so I know we kind of like went down a little small little rabbit hole, but
Yeah,
I
we're talking
actually
games.
I actually want to get into the one thing that we have not for real talked about.
What?
This whole Marvel phase, that timeline that has been put out to us. Oh shit!
We're not getting a Moonlight or Moon Knight.
I'm glad with that. I'm okay with that.
What?
He doesn't understand. He doesn't understand. Moon Knight.
No, I do. I
He's one of
just
those people.
no,
That's
how
one of the best shows that they came out with.
I watched it finally. It was just like
I
I
sat
see
here. You want to know why you feel that way?
Mhm.
Because all the Disney Plus shows that came out since the second Spider-Man movie are all introductions.
Yes.
Therefore, nobody knows their importances yet. Like Kamala Khan is eventually going to be a major player in the MCU, but right
Yeah.
now we don't care.
Yeah,
Her story was great for the culture.
I thought it was
It
good
was
too.
fun, but it has no purpose just
is
yet.
that what it is? Because I'm just like okay, like I don't hate them, but I'm just like all right.
We just don't know their purpose yet.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of her power. I'm
They-
not the
because
biggest
you,
fan.
You don't like it because they changed it.
Yes.
But they had to change the story. Because you know how she got him, right?
It was that bangle, right?
No, in the real comic, she got her power because Terrigen Mist, which is from the Inhumans.
Right. She's like the first
Gotcha,
Inhuman,
anyway.
right?
No, she's a result of an accident from the Inhumans. All right, so back up. So first of all, the Doctor Strange movie was not supposed to be the one we got. It's supposed to be
Yeah.
a little bit different.
Yeah,
Wanda wasn't supposed to be the initial villain. Wanda was supposed to flip and become a villain towards the end.
Damn.
It's supposed to be a completely different villain involved.
Mm.
Okay? If they would have did what they were supposed to, the next step with Wanda was going to lead to House of M. Okay, I'm not gonna tell you about it. Just go look it up on YouTube. Watch Comic the Story. House of M, dope ass storyline, changed the landscapes of mutants. Period. Okay. So it's supposed to be the House of M. Then, but what happened in the comics from the House of M? Because Quicksilver went to the Inhumans to try to fix what happened from the results of House of M. He released Terrigen Mist on the Earth. The problem was people didn't know Terrigen Mist is poisonous to mutants, but it would bring up the Inhuman dormant gene out of regular people. So the Terrigen Mist is how Kamala Khan was born, or got her powers in so many words. Couldn't do that because MCU scratched the Inhuman storyline altogether.
Yeah.
The movie was so goddamn trash. I don't even think they counted.
Which movie?
Inhumans,
right?
the one with all the white people.
Yeah,
I think that's why people are like, no,
the one where they accidentally made they ended up making a TV show on Fox.
not
Six,
accidentally.
Because they was going to just scratch it all together.
Oh, that show on the spot though.
Because it was supposed to be part of phase 2 or 3. So if they would have went with the original storylines, you would have to bring the Terrigen Mist into the
Didn't
story.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. talk about it though?
They talked about them too, but that multiverse, completely different groups of Inhumans.
Right,
yeah.
The ones that the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. talked about is the nigga who blew his brains out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it at that. If you
Yeah.
haven't seen the Multiverse of Madness for those listening.
Yeah.
Okay. So Kamala, they had to change how Kamala Khan got her powers. But spoiler alert: if you watch the end of the show, the very end when her buddy was like, "Hey, I read your reading is wrong." Kamala Khan is the first mutant that they're introducing into the MCU.
Yep.
So her Bengals doing that and bringing her power, they changed her completely, but they didn't take away what she can do.
Yeah, like she's still basically Mr. Fantastic.
She's still Mr. Fantastic, but it's more mutant wise than nigga. I went out into space and came back, and I got this dust on me, so now I can stretch everywhere because I'm trying to be in too many places at one time. Which I didn't find that out until I was older, that the Fantastic Four's powers are based on their personalities.
Yeah.
It was years later that I figured it out.
Yeah, I mean, now that I think about like
All
the
their
movie when I saw it with Jessica Alba,
Yeah.
They touched base on that.
Yeah. That movie was
Yeah.
trash.
How those Fox movies are, you can tell that
I
they're
like
like
that
Fox
Fantastic
Marvel
Four.
movies.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like they're superhero movies, but
They're movies.
they're movies.
When a
Like,
movie focuses more on a relationship
yeah.
than what they can do, it is not a comic book
It's a
accurate
movie.
movie.
I forgot what they
we
called
didn't-
that.
We didn't like the Jessica Alba
X-Men,
Four
Fantastic
No.
Four, Spider-Man.
Wait,
Those
Hulk.
4 people who played those characters was perfect,
Perfect.
but the story was bad.
Not
That's
my favorite,
okay.
and I don't like the way
I like-
they did Von Doom either. Like it was
Yeah.
too easy.
I liked Silver Surfer better than
was good.
better than the other one.
That
than
was.
the
I
original.
forgot about that.
The
one.
Silver Surfer movie
Avengers?
was way
I
better.
did not like it because at the end, the fact that Johnny combined everybody's powers to beat
Oh,
No.
Yeah.
you don't beat Galactus that
You
way.
don't. You don't. But that's the reason why a lot of these movies, like, I'm glad that with Marvel, they're finally sticking to majority.
Well, that's
Of
the
the
thing about
comics.
Marvel because now you created your, unlike Fox or Sony or anybody like that, you technically created your own source material. There is no reason outside, maybe
that's
because
wrong.
you can't get certain characters, you should ever deviate from what you've already created.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and
Like it doesn't make no sense for you to have to change the story of how Captain America got here when you wrote Captain America to begin with.
Yeah, and I feel like they didn't know how to in those Fox. They didn't know how to do superhero movies. I mean, the only ones at that time were probably like Superman and Batman.
And if I get one more goddamn Batman,
Oh my
need
God, dude.
I don't need it.
Even though it was okay. I liked
the
it.
last one.
Would I watch it again?
He had
No.
a
Robert
parachute.
Pattinson.
Yeah,
good.
he had a parachute.
He surprised me.
Like, oh, hey, I know
But
he
this-
did that
but-
before.
No, but okay, so
No,
think
they
about
did.
it like this. Batman, this is like second year Batman. This isn't an origin
Yeah,
story. It's
yeah.
like second year
Yeah,
Batman.
two Batman.
So yeah, the parachute makes sense. Him busting his shit into the
That shit was
to the
funny.
bridge. Oh,
I
that shit was
like,
so funny.
ooh, don't do that again.
That shit was
And he
hilarious.
did it throughout the whole movie.
Like that shit was
The
hilarious.
thing about Batman is I'm tired of them constantly telling the story of this one guy over and over again when he has a whole Bat family. you can evolve the story because the comics have evolved the story.
But that's the reason why a
Like
lot of the
Damian Wayne,
OG.
that'd be a good story. That'd be a
You
good
need
movie.
to do the Damian one. Hell,
Yeah.
let Red Hood run free for a while.
Yeah. But that's the reason why like all those older Batman movies were good because we got to see Batgirl, we got to see Robin, even in those spaces. Like we got to see the family
It was family,
for
like,
that small little inkling. But
And that's
all
why
these,
Christian
I'm so
Bale
sick.
is the best Batman.
The Dark Knight movies was getting on my nerves because it was always just him. Always. And then the Batman, we get year 2, and I gave it a chance because I watched what's the movie with Denzel Washington's son?
which one?
He has a lot of movies now.
You talking about the one where they rewind time?
Yeah, I
I know
forgot
what
the
you're
name
talking
of that one. It was one of my favorite movies. That's one of my favorite movies. I've watched that so many times, and it's still good. But Robert Pattinson was one of the main characters.
Oh
in that
yeah, I saw that
Tailneck
movie.
or something like that.
Yeah,
Something like that.
but he was good. Like I thought he was one note like
Robert
Christian.
Pattinson is a great actor.
But he's a great actor, and so I wanted to see
You
him
won
as
the
a Batman.
Twilight.
That's all. But see, that's all I had for
Put
him.
it into the microphone.
That's all I had for him, though. Like,
I think that's why this movie was also successful because we looked at him. We gave him a chance to not be Twilight.
yeah,
Okay,
Mhm.
like this is that role. It's like with Zendaya. Like we were always had seen Disney Zendaya until we got Euphoria.
Mm-hmm.
Like we needed to see, like, oh shit,
I didn't really
this
know
is this
she was
is
doing
what's going on
outside
behind the scenes.
I didn't check for her either. That's the crazy part of it. I was not checking for her, but then Euphoria came out, and she,
yeah.
I'm always a fan of Zendaya because like she was trying to be like an artist before.
and
Before
I didn't know that either. She could sing. I didn't even know
But
that.
that's the Disney thing. If you pay attention, Disney made all their characters be in 3 or 4 different boxes, even singing.
Yeah.
Like damn near every
smart.
single Disney star has a fucking album.
Yeah.
I think we're all pretty good at Mortal Kombat. I think we can all like neutral. I'm neutral. I'm not like the best.
I'm like,
Yeah.
man, so bad.
Well, I think we're. Yeah. This is a game we can actually do and not have to worry about somebody over OPing
Yeah,
our
it's called
ass.
Tenet.
Yeah,
Tenet.
Tenet, yeah.
Being, overwhelming.
That movie was so good.
Yeah, and I think DC like has just struggled to evolve and step outside of the main Justice League, and even when they're trying now with Black Adam, we'll see like how it is. But Marvel,
Shazam was good.
I forgot about that.
It was forgettable.
It's better than what I thought.
The second one, I'm probably gonna go watch because I've seen the first one, but it's probably gonna be forgettable too.
Mhm.
He looked old as hell though.
The only one,
I don't like that
the
guy.
only one that I'm really looking forward to right now in DC is Black Adam.
Yeah,
Black Adam
Yes.
looks like it's going to be good. I'm tired of seeing Dwayne Johnson and everything, but
But
he
in
looks
this
like he's going
way-
to be good.
I've always wanted
In
him to be a
this movie.
superhero or something, but he's a
I
villain
think
now.
this
So.
is. I think this is
Right.
no
Anti-hero.
Well,
Technically,
anti-hero,
anti-hero.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think this is going to be good because this is the role he wanted to do.
Yeah.
'Cause they were going to scrap Black Adam a long time ago when the whole DC universe kind of flopped.
Yeah.
He the one who kept like, you know, if I got to put my own damn money up to make this movie, we're gonna make this movie. So he had already had a plan to do it. And when the Shazam movie actually did good, it made it easier for them to go ahead and greenlight it because technically he's his antagonist.
Yes.
So you kind of like, okay, we do this Shazam here,
Yeah.
we do this Black Adam, then we can do this Shazam too. Look, we can just do our own thing over here and fuck the DC shit that you're trying to do. Then the Snyder Cut came out, and then everybody was like, oh, okay, this is what we were supposed to get. Let's go.
Did we need 4 hours of it though?
It's called a director's cut for a reason,
Oh
bro.
God.
It wasn't
Oh.
different.
More like
to me.
director's edition.
Well,
like
the
you added so fucking much.
Because he had a cyborg story.
Yeah, but like I was telling my
Which
friend,
was
it's
not,
the exact
like-
same movie. It's the exact same movie
It really
until
was.
like the last hour and a half.
Because they added a cyborg story.
Like the
Didn't
slow
even-
motion moments that they had were pointless.
Yeah.
There was
were.
a lot that was not.
I don't
needed.
like the way they fight in DC. Like some of those slow mo, it just be too much, or the way that they it just
It's
don't.
just like
it don't
I
feel
don't understand
natural.
what they be dropping the ball. Like, okay, so perfect example, Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman 1 was good as hell.
Yes, it was.
Wonder
Yes.
Woman 2, what the fuck happened?
Horrible.
Was
Horrible.
Wonder Woman 2 directed by the same person?
I don't think so. That's why
And I
I
think
like,
that's where
that's
a lot
probably
of
what it is.
that's where the Justice League movie is a prime example. When you change directors, you change ideas, and when
Mhm.
you change ideas, you don't always get the best story.
Like how did
That's
she
they fault.
I was just
Her main.
We know that.
And she does.
Like that's just like them messing up Thanos. Like
yeah.
We know that. That's the reason why
And you
when
have-
it comes to video game movies and comic book movies alike, we get upset when you fuck up the source material when it's right there.
it's right there.
All you have to do is sit down for one whole day and just read all these fucking comics.
And
Just watch the
I
cartoon.
believe that'd be the thing too. Like I think a lot of these directors don't be doing their exact research. They do enough
Like, ooh.
to just kind of see like
Make
what
a
they
movie.
would tweak
Make a
and what's
movie.
what's
Make a movie.
profitable.
Okay, so we got a talking gorilla, a cheetah that runs fast, a super
Right.
smart dude. All right, let's make this Lucy in the Dude
Right,
movie.
Kristen
And that's
Stewart.
all they do.
Right.
And it fucks
No,
up,
she
and
was-
people
she was,
don't really like
That's
pay
who
attention
played,
to what the fans and
not
everything
Kristen-
want. But
what's her name? Kristen
going back to
Kristen
tomorrow,
Wiig.
Yeah.
Almost like you got Kristen
Yeah.
Wiig and you dropped it.
Yeah.
and that was the
Wiig actually
thing.
did a really good
She
job.
did a really good job.
But
She
they
did
did
a
not-
really good
Her
job
character,
before she became Cheetah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
It was the when you finally became Cheetah was the one where I was pissed off.
No, I actually liked it for her only
it's not her
because
fault.
yeah, that's not her fault.
But
And then two,
she got
as an actress who did Bridesmaids, she do funny shit all
Yeah.
the
and
time.
to see her like that. I was
To
like,
see her like
damn.
that and to really sock it, she socked the role to
He
me.
was the best
From
actor
front to
in
back.
the whole movie.
Yeah, and they fight scene just was anticlimactic.
But it also
in the Rose
goes
Garden,
back
like-
to
Yeah.
when
It
you
was just
don't
pretty.
have
That outfit
somebody
was really
who
nice.
is familiar with that world, you get the movie thing.
Yeah.
They focus so much on the fact that Wonder Woman is still in love with this dead dude from World War II.
I was
It is
so mad.
1984. You telling me that she ain't seen no other dude, got no dick from nobody else by
But that was
now?
her first
Shit,
man.
Amazon. Yeah.
So
But
what?
when she
The
was
Amazonians ain't no nigga handling no Amazonian in that day and age.
And he
Right.
Do you think she was gonna handle that Amazonian? She was gonna
it had
ride you
Hercules.
into the sky. Shit.
And I think that's also what pissed me off about it because the Justice League made her look untouchable. But the
Mhm.
fact that she's still in love with a dead nigga from a long time ago is the reason why this whole movie flopped.
This Wonder Woman
Yeah.
was super soft.
Yeah, and,
Wonder Woman not soft.
she's
though.
not. And you see
She had a
Nick-
whole costume
Yeah.
reveal and everything, and it was just
her flying in the jet with
Nothing.
him, like
The
that whole
Invisible Jet
flashback.
being-
nothing.
And you see,
Even honestly, even in Justice League, the director's cut, the
They
Snyder
still had
cut,
her beast.
they had her beastie in Justice League.
Like,
Yeah.
Beastie.
Yeah.
and even when you get little, human-esque moments or soft moments from Wonder Woman in the cartoons or comics, she still like is.
Amazon.
She's still Amazon, because in the Justice League cartoon, she kind of had a thing with Batman, I think, but she was still hard, or
Yeah.
in Injustice when she was literally for Superman, but she was.
And that's what I was gonna say too. They do so well. DC does so well with their animated movies.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I watch almost
Yeah.
all of them on
yeah,
HBO Max.
because that whole
Y'all were the ones that made me want finally finish Young Justice, which was good as
It's good as
fuck.
fuck.
Good as
That
hell.
storytelling is
The
so-
storytelling was good. Like
the
I,
last
so
season
good.
was
So
so
good.
deep.
yeah.
Like the way they did Beast
Like
Boy.
psychological.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Beast Boy was going through.
Yeah.
Beast Boy, like
Yeah.
I was worried from the door.
Yeah.
Bro, he was
Yeah.
Like, bro, you need a
Nigga,
hug.
hello.
Look, let's give you a hug.
Yes,
Yo,
And the
yes.
fact that they had an intervention
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
was on everybody.
Yeah.
Like, even when
That
Dog
was on,
finally
what,
came to the
HBO Max,
realization, he was still messed up. Like, I love how the fact that they did not skip over the fact
And
that
I like the fact
Superboy's
that-
death.
Even the transitions between the characters, like all the characters were not the same throughout the whole show.
No,
Everybody,
what's her name that got absorbed? The chick who, the
Starfire.
chick with the hijab.
Oh,
How her
Yeah.
her sexuality on top of her religion, like
and
her
her
just,
pronouns
and just navigating just that whole thing. I thought that was so
Right.
dope
Yeah.
because this creature has a dead girl's body. Spoiler alert. And she's trying to learn how to live. Period. Like, well, I like this dude over here, but I'm feeling a way about her over here, and I want to see if this is okay. And then I only wear this because the girl who body I have, she wore it. But what does it really mean to wear it? And it was like the whole just trying to find
It was,
her identity.
it was the whole, as Dave Chappelle said, she was having a whole human experience.
Exactly.
And even
And
how
that's what
like,
made it good.
and even how like raw and gruesome and everything it was, like for them being basically the Teen Titans, which normally when we see them like aren't you know,
so many arcs
very
going
childlike,
on.
you know, cartoons, whatever. But like people, you know,
It was
They're
like
teenagers. They're acting like real teenagers.
Yeah, it was like how like they took Teen Titans and just picked up right from there. Because even in Teen Titans, like that was probably like at my age, one of the darkest shows that I had seen, especially when Slade came into play, and I could not stop. I hated that they canceled it, and Tara when she came into the spec, like it was like they literally just picked up right from there. And it just got darker and just got more mature. Oh, it was.
It's the same writer.
Okay, that says a lot because I didn't notice that. But you could tell now it makes sense. You can literally tell the correlation.
That's why if you notice, like certain voice actors still voice the same character because Robin's voice is the same. Beast Boy. Beast Boy is Beast Boy everywhere. It's the same Beast Boy. It's the same Beast Boy everywhere. Cyborg is the same through all alliterations of it. It's always the same.
I forgot who plays Cyborg.
How do we feel about this is my last question about Marvel, and then I'm going to go into the main questions that I had before we have to end out. But how do we feel about the Wakanda trailer that just came out?
You know, I think they're doing.
Need to see it.
We all need to see it because
are we all wearing white?
Of course.
Yeah,
we're definitely wearing white.
Yes. I just ordered I got ordered something from
I'm so glad to hear that, y'all. I'm definitely in my white.
It's going to be a movement.
It's going to be a movement.
I feel like they're doing a very good job with advertising because I don't know what's going to happen.
Yep.
You do and you don't.
You do and you don't because we all know that little sister is going to be.
We don't really know that, but we smart.
Yeah, we smart.
We smart enough to know.
I think that the best thing about the trailer is that it tied into what's really happening in real life. And you can actually, it has, but like T'Challa or Chadwick dying or passing away, and them correlating it into that, you could tell that a lot of them people when they were crying for real tears. That shit was real. And I think that's what made it so.
It's like having another funeral.
Yeah.
I like that.
The actual funeral.
Angela Bassett's moment.
We actually, the thing about it is, if you really pay attention, the world we never got a public funeral for Chadwick. If you pay attention. Chadwick, his family, they did their private thing. They buried him. We found out about the cancer literally in the last moments. And then COVID.
Yeah.
So we never really had the opportunity to really, truly mourn for Duke.
Question real quick. Do y'all feel like T'Challa needs to be recast?
Yes and no. Because here's the reason why I say that. And I'm kind of glad Ryan Coogler did what he did, as much as people are pissed off about it.
Me too.
But if you look at how the MCU was going, we're going to get a new Black Panther the way it goes.
Yeah.
It's not even going to be sure we're going to get another actual T'Challa. But in this moment, the way the story is written, we technically don't need Chadwick. We are taking probably the first 20 minutes of this movie, and we're having our memorial service for Chadwick, plain and simple. So every Black person is there. We're going to cry for 30 minutes before the ass whooping starts.
And they're introducing that one guy.
Then Namor is being brought into it. And that's the whole reason why you technically don't need Chadwick for this story, because Namor and Wakanda has had beef with land dwellers, period.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't Wakanda, it was somebody else. Same thing goes on over in DC where the Amazonians and the Submariner keep getting into it.
Yeah.
So the sea niggas just don't like us, period. So you're either gonna fight a gang of Black folks or a gang of women.
I really feel like
they're racist now.
Yeah. I feel like it's just going to be exactly what you said, on top of the fact that Wakanda's going to have to deal with people coming to take Wakanda.
Yeah, and I think that's where the thing is. I think
that's where the story's kind of like.
I think that's where the story. I think something happens as a result of losing T'Challa that either causes Namor and his people to finally say they're weak, they have no Black Panther, let's attack, or something as a result of it, maybe vibranium fell down there. You know, the typical like, oh, there's this rock right here. This rock can only came from over here. It's their fault, even though that's not the reason why it's there. So they come in. We're going to have a fight. Yeah. And I think
we just don't know where the fight is coming from.
We're not going to know why the fight gets there. So we're going to have 30 minutes. I say 20 to 30 minutes of a funeral, of mourning, the world wrapping their heads around us black folks crying in each other's arms, the whole 9 yards, and then this mutant with a bunch of blue motherfuckers is gonna show up wrecking shit, and we gonna like whoop his ass, and then all of a sudden we gonna realize M'Baku's like, fuck you, I don't want to be Black Panther no more. I'm cool on this
I hated
mountain.
that. He should have been.
He should technically he is supposed to be, but the Shuri story actually works better. And then we're gonna get to the point where like Angela Bassett literally says she ain't got her family no more. Like what the fuck?
Oh, that part
like
killed me, man.
Like, when she said it, it made me think, what about Shuri?
Yeah.
Is Shuri not gonna be? Are you not telling us something?
Right.
Like,
where is Shuri?
Like, because when you lost your husband, you lost your son, your adopted son. Well, not adopted.
I think that the reason why she's saying it like that is because she doesn't want her to be in that space. You know,
I don't know, because Shuri's always been that person.
She has, but I think that like culturally in that space, she doesn't want her daughter in that. You know, she doesn't see her doing something.
Yeah, or probably just saying it like in a a way or a moment, not even really like thinking or meaning in that way. It's just literally like, it's just like if you lost your whole family, only one was left, you would probably still say that. Like, I've lost my entire family.
It doesn't take away from the fact that you're not part of this family,
but I feel like the fact that Ryan Coogler used that particular line makes us have this conversation because you guys are thinking like that. It's like, okay, Shuri is still gonna be there, but what if she's not? What if something did happen?
And that's why the advertising was so smart.
Yeah.
It left.
It was a lot of questions.
It left a lot of room for discussion and questions, and just we don't know. And I'm glad we're not knowing.
I'm just glad it's 3 months away.
I was just about to say,
yes,
so soon.
Yes.
Like, so we have to wait till February again.
2023 and shit. No. But look, that's what I'm saying. Like, this whole fall is about to be ridiculous with everything that's coming out. Like, I'm just excited about all of that. And I think that the biggest thing, and this is one to kind of segue into my main question, is the representation. One person told me that they cried on TikTok, just happy at the fact that they casted Namor as someone that represents them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't just a white man playing to be something else.
Yeah.
And they were like ecstatic about that the most. He was like, he said that, it's so crazy that I respect y'all, as talk about black people, so much. He said y'all had a platform of your own, and instead of going with the same shit that all the other platforms do, y'all looked to us and gave us our representation. He said, and for that I give you your flowers, because a lot of people don't do that, and it gave me that much more respect. I kind of shed a tear because I'm like, I think that in our makeup in general as a black community, that's what we want. We want to be able to have the representation and be able to have those tools to be able to like show the representation in other people too. It's not just about us. Like, everybody deserves representation.
And the more representation that
I think that we know that the most. That's why that matters.
The more confident you are as a person. Like, that's why we as a culture now are so much more confident, because we're everywhere now.
Yes.
We're
like
everywhere.
we fought to be represented in everything. I remember there was a point in time where you watch a TV show and you had to look for that one black person on that show. You had to fight to see who was the token black person. The whole phrase token black person.
Yeah.
But I think that's another thing I love about Marvel is, whether it's in the comics or the movies, Marvel has always worked towards diversity. Stan Lee has always been very open and adamant about making sure everybody is represented. Funny thing is, in the beginning when comics were first being written,
it was
a lot of characters were not represented like that, not because he didn't want them there, but because the way ink and print went, it didn't come out right. Because the Hulk was never supposed to be green. The way ink and print came out, the ink faded. It bled. Hulk was initially supposed to be gray. But the ink faded to be that. When he tried to show African Americans in representation, the ink started to fade in regards to that. That's why he worked so hard to make sure they figured out a proper way of printing when he started working on the Black Panther series. He wanted to make sure that the Black Panther series was probably represented. If you go back and you look at comics back in the early years, the Black Panther is the richest, the smartest, the wealthiest, the strongest, the fastest. For an African American in a time when we were looked down upon, to have this kind of representation was major. And this is from the creator, a white guy who did not have to do this.
Right.
He chose to do this. Then you take the whole backstory of the mutants. The mutants is our story.
Yeah.
Prime example.
Yeah.
It is our story. Hands down.
It came because of the era when it was made, because
Right.
it was made during like
The civil rights.
the civil rights movement and everything was all because of that.
Right. And then if you
So-
even look at the two most particular characters that are mutants, are based on two very important characters in our history, Malcolm and Martin.
Yes.
So we've always been represented by Marvel. Then you fast forward to Bendis.
Yeah.
Bendis increased the representation of women
Mm-hmm.
because he adopted two little African American girls, and said, I want you to feel seen. Not only as your culture, but as your gender. That's why the most renowned cartoon in history, which is X-Men 97, that whole series, so many women characters.
Yeah.
Prominent, strong women characters at that. All because Bendis was starting to write and make sure. Because at that point in time, women were treated as like romantic interests or just something to move the plot.
Yeah.
And not an X-Man.
Not next man. If you're not
They're gonna
mistaken,
beat your
they had a
ass.
whole story where Green Lantern's girlfriend got shoved in the fridge.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the darkest moments in comic history.
Yeah.
His girlfriend got shoved into a fridge. And it started this whole big thing. And Bendis was like, not over here. And and that's when you started getting characters like Rogue, Mystique, Storm, Jubilee. Like women really, and even now to this day, women are still very represented in Marvel.
And in that show, like those are the characters that we remember. Like,
But see, Marvel, like as you said, Marvel does that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I guess that the problem that I had, and this now is going to go into my next question, and then I guess we can be done from here because we're pretty much out of time. But no, so my biggest thing was just like the representation of LGBT in games. Like that's one thing that I'm not seeing as much. And I keep going back to Nier, but the main reason why I like that game is because there's actual LGBT representation in the game. It's canon, and a lot of people don't notice that, but it's in there. There's actually you know I'm horrible with pronouns, but I guess I would say male transition to a female.
Yes.
In Nier, they don't talk about it, but she's definitely in there.
And
I didn't even know she was until
her story
really came out, and then I did research. And even in the old, I told you in the old game, the one that they made before the remake, you actually see the bulge under her thing, under her little garment. Like you
a lot of that, especially for the transgender community, are starting to be represented more and more.
In what way? Name me 5 games right now where they are represented, where transgender men or women are represented.
Anything with Elliot Page on the cover.
Elliot Page, who's that?
You don't know who Elliot Page is?
Elliot Page.
Umbrella Academy. You ever watch
Oh, she.
Okay.
Right. I just
that was me being funny, but that was me being funny, real enough. But y'all are starting to be represented more. Yes, it's a slow progress. Okay?
But I would feel like, I guess that's the problem.
But it was a slow progress for Black people too.
Marvel has been putting out representation again since X-Men. When I was watching X-Men on Fox Kids, you know how long that's been. And it was you said everything correctly. Like the women were represented as strong women, white, Black, otherwise, any other race, they were strong women. Even and it goes back even with the love interest. You don't even see that too many love interests in X-Men. The only one you really see prominently was Jean Grey and Cyclops, and that didn't pass because she turned into Phoenix. So
okay, so
I just have a problem on why is it taking so long?
I think it's getting there because I don't know if you guys watch Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Okay, so let me say this then. Those are 2 women. When it comes to us as
men,
Black LGBTQ men in the community, again, that's what I said representation. Representation goes all the way around. I don't see that.
I think one of my earliest
I can't even name a black LGBT person in the game. I can't.
I think games might be tricky. I'm not gonna lie there, because most games are trying to stray away from romantic relationships in games and start focusing more on the story and action. So,
But you don't have to have that. That's the
I know
point.
you don't have to.
Like again, in there, she don't have a romantic relationship with anybody.
I think we're gonna.
It's like asexual.
Start getting there because I know the very first time I truly seen it as something that I felt was mainstream was in Voltron. One of the Netflix version of Voltron. As a matter of fact, Netflix has been really good about doing that lately. Because the She-Ra series,
Castlevania
has done that.
Games,
I said the games will get there. Just like we are just now getting games where we're represented more in, the medias have to pick up and get there.
Yeah.
Like we see it more in TV. It's literally as part of TV so much that straight cis men don't even know how to fucking behave.
I just don't think that. I think that the problem is, I think it's an excuse. That's just me, and I think that it's just like it's just not marketable to them yet. I think that's the main thing.
I think
it's just not marketable.
Yeah, and I think also just continued representation, like behind the scenes too, like very much with a lot of stuff, like nothing is going to get done until somebody from that community does it. So since there is a disproportionate rate of like Black queer people in gaming in general, or directors in general, or content creators in general, it's going to be a slow start. And I think even though we had those examples of like women or queer women in the 80s and 90s and stuff like that still was a slow start because, you know, comics have been around since the 40s. So think about how much time that.
But you see
that
what
was.
But I get all of that. But I think that the problem that I'm having and it's making me not really, I guess, respect how it's going is, again, Stan Lee. Stan Lee is a white man who decided to put in diversity way sooner than we're experiencing now.
Right.
Like, so what is it? What is it?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure Stan Lee put that out before he even thought it was going to be marketable or not.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's where the Stan Lee conversation stands out. He didn't care about it being marketable. He did it because that's what he wanted to do at that moment. We live in a day and age where everybody is so scared and cautious about what you say and do that nobody's just doing it because they feel like they want to do it without concern about backlash. Like P-Valley. We've had nothing but we have great stories for y'all this past season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some real in-depth shit, mentally and physically, to the point where I'm watching it. It was like, damn, I'm worried about Dog now. Like, I'm really worried about Dog.
Yeah.
Especially with the way the last episode last night just ended.
Oh, I haven't even seen it.
I'm not going to tell you. I'm worried about Dog. I'm worried about Dog in general, and not from like he's going to do nothing stupid, just mentally. And the whole thing about it is, it does not matter his sexual orientation, why I'm worried about him. It's all because of how the story is being told and how I'm loving that. Then you go back to Coach and the fact that you have had such a straight and narrow mind state that you didn't realize that you have a wife who loves women just like you do. Mm-hmm. But because you put her in a box, she hasn't been able to live her true self.
Mm-hmm.
So you got all these different layers that are sitting there. But meanwhile, on social media, you got
people attacking it.
I came here to see titties and ass. Well, you still seeing titties.
Porn.
Right, you still seeing titties.
No, it's just like if you said watch, you still see that shit.
You still see it though. Like, what's the problem?
What's the problem? What's really the issue?
Like, this is a great. And the funny part was like, we at the point where everybody's seen last week's episode, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't want to see him get filled up, guess what? Fast forward. What the fuck I did? I will say this. I don't want to just fast forward it.
Okay,
I don't either.
No.
But I get what you're saying. It was a little cringy for me.
I didn't see it.
It was just cringy.
I was just like,
did they do it? Like, oh wow.
it was what he said. He was just like, nigga. I was like, oh.
That's what made me fast forward. Like, wait a minute.
That is cringy.
Aren't you?
Do what?
I'm like, I think that whether your position, whatever it is, I think just talking like that for me is.
I remember one time a guy would tell me to break him off. I'm like, break you off? I looked it up. I was like, you want some money?
Like, is this how they talk on Grindr?
No. Oh my God, no. Well, I was like, like, I don't talk like that.
I was like, where do you get this dialogue? You know what? Let's fast forward. Wow. Y'all to say some wild shit. I'm not.
That shit was wild though.
Like I'm not.
I was like, oh, okay.
but then my thing came. Everybody was upset at that scene. Like, did you stay there and watch the whole thing?
They definitely did.
So like, so let me ask you, why are you still here then?
Just mad about it.
It was like you make popcorn, go to the bathroom.
Right.
Fast forward. You don't have to be here.
No, because regardless of your sexuality, if it makes you awkward or cringy, you're just gonna fast forward. It has nothing to do with nothing.
It had nothing to do with it. Like there's a time where I seen two women and this shit got wild. Like I'm not here for that. What the fuck?
Yeah, if it's too much, because again, that's why I thought that's why I understood where you were coming from. Because again, as a cis male in the whole situation, to hear that, I was just like,
Right.
I would say, I'm like, I don't want a nigga to fill me up.
That's not how that goes. All right, I have to take some more.
I was say, like, just don't tell me that. Just don't tell me that.
Talk about it.
Don't talk about it. Just finish the job. You know?
Do what you got to do.
That's funny.
You want to get breakfast or something?
Right.
Like, shut up, nigga.
But I just, especially now because I'm getting ready to do this charity tonight, I really have been paying attention. And I'm only speaking when it comes to games because I've been in that a lot.
Before you get there, let me ask you a question. Because that sounds more like a closing statement. What do you want a representation to look like in games? Do you want it to be the main focal point of the story? Like instead of Mario going to save the princess, he go and save somebody else? Or do you want the story to kind of happen and then at the end you kind of find out that Bob and John are really the couple?
That's
my question.
My question has nothing to do with the story. It could be a good story. It don't even have to have a person like me in the story. Mm-hmm. But if they're going to be in the story, let them be an exact representation of who I am.
So I think that's...
And it could be a side character. It could be somebody literally walking up and down the street and they have a conversation about it and he represents it in the right way. Like, that's what I want. And I don't want to keep constantly, and this has nothing to do with anybody who acts in this way. But we are all not feminine every time.
I was like, because then if you think about it, you're gonna get the flamboyant character. You're gonna get the allied character.
Because there's different versions of it.
It's why. And that's the question that I really want to ask. Like, why is that the first thing that y'all go to every time we are represented in this space? That's why I like P-Valley so much, because that whole banter is literally. I'm not Little Murder, but I can resonate with him, with his interactions with Clifford, with his interactions with what's his name that just passed away.
Yeah.
Like I can really correlate. I can really feel something from that. But I don't feel anything from Clifford except for I got friends like her.
And I think what they do is
because I don't know that world.
Right, and I think this is something that Hollywood does in general, and I think that because we're Black people and you guys are of the LBGT, you notice the stereotypes that you guys can resonate with. Because think about it, Black folks get stereotyped quickly in movies. Like the whole issue right now that people are having with P-Valley outside of that is the fact that they say Mississippians don't really talk like this. Like there was a big whole thing where the creator was being attacked on Twitter.
But that's situational too, because I know people that talk like that.
But that's just it. So I think what it is they go for what will make you truly stand out. And it does happen to be the flamboyant. So if we opened up Instagram right now, or we opened up Facebook or TikTok right now, and you see videos of guys with the wigs doing the skits, it is the flamboyant.
Yeah, and I was
it is the outrageous look. So there are I can't speak for all of them because I know y'all. I fuck with y'all. I kick with y'all. I could be in the goddamn whole party with y'all, and I don't feel no way. Like it's when they get peaked.
But I was gonna say, even that character, like Uncle Clifford, could also be in that space too, because that's no different than a Big Frida. Big Frida is from New Orleans, from the hood, be in there with the people, be in there with the girls, and is in full geesh, but still like
that dude, but also that girl, and it really goes by whatever you want to.
And then you look at RuPaul and his claim and his rise to fame has been of that outward flamboyant kind of a look, and
Now he wears suits,
right? So, right, like now you're wearing suits like the ordinary dude. So I guess Hollywood doesn't know how to make that shift for y'all just yet.
I think that they still need to take some pages from P Valley, because I think that P Valley is doing a good job.
Yeah.
And this the only show that
But
I have
I've never seen anything like this.
I've
before.
never seen anything like that. And that's why I watch it. Like, I don't, yes, I'm Banji and all this other ghetto shit, but I am, you know that. Right. But I love the representation. I think that it's very, 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 very important, because we all change. Right. Back then, I'm here for Clifford. You know what I'm saying? I was flamboyant back then. You grow out of that. You grow into it.
I think a lot of people don't know you do grow out of that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is. The thing about it is,
and again, and don't get me wrong too, if you don't, that's fine.
And you said it right though. You said you either grow out of it or you can grow into it. Or
either way, like
you do both.
It's I just want the representation. The point being is that I just want the representation to be just in general all the way around represented. Like I'm so happy to see people like Alphonse and I can't think of his name. Tick. What's his name? Tick. Is that his name, bro? Tick. That's what it was.
Because it's short for something. Because old girl said his whole name one episode.
Yeah.
The chick at the diner.
Yeah. I just going into gaming, I just really want to see more of that.
And I do too, but I think the whole issue
it's a big market. Gaming is such a huge market. Do they not know? Do y'all not know? Where's Cameron? Do y'all not know? Do y'all not know that y'all will get a lot more money from a lot of gamers in the LGBT community if you would just add more representation? The people that play your games are people like that, like
most of us.
Majority of them are people like us. Add us into y'all mix.
I think it's once we figure out how you can be added without being disrespectful.
Yes.
Because I think the biggest complication with the LGBT community is y'all have so many different variables of how y'all can be represented, that if we represent one.
So you go with the most outlandish one?
They go like, come on. They go with the one that's most popular. I'm sorry to say that.
No, you're right, but it's just
most popular.
If that's their reason, it's like it don't make sense because y'all go with the most outlandish one, or do y'all feel like that's just the one that y'all see all the time? Because you can't identify it from us. We're unclockable for the most part. So
9 to 10 is probably what they see the most, because the flamboyantness is a normal behavior in Hollywood, period. Whether you're straight, gay, whatever, you're going to see flamboyant, period.
Yeah.
So I guess that's what we all got to remember. Hollywood is its own little world. Yeah. They don't realize that there's normal people.
When I'm around people who are like that shallow, or just like not shallow, or just ignorant,
right?
They get so surprised when I into certain stuff like RuPaul and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't watch it. What? You don't watch it?
I said same thing. I always tell my friends. I just had to tell a coworker of mine at work. I'm like, I'm not that gay. I'm not the girl. I'm not the person that you could call to get your hair done. I'm not the person that does your nails. I'm very useless.
Right.
In that department. I am not.
I'm a good time.
Makeup. My sister got you. I ain't got.
I know people, but
not you barking up the wrong tree.
No, we can go ahead and play this Naruto real quick, though.
Right. No. Okay, that's fine.
I can teach you how to dance a little bit.
A little bit. Okay, yeah, I am that gay.
Right.
I fit that story.
Yeah. You gotta fit 1 to 2. 1 to 3. You gotta dance. You gotta know how to dance. You gotta know how to do makeup, or you gotta draw. You gotta be one of those.
All right. You just want to squeeze a little drawing thing in there.
Because I've seen some you gotta think about high school of arts. I'm just going down the list of all the high school arts.
Consider that really flamboyant though?
What, drawing?
Yeah.
No.
I don't.
No.
Some of them do.
I definitely feel like dancing is.
He went. Like, did you think that's what I'm doing?
I don't know, like that. You can be in the crib in a nice silk robe, got the easel in front of
You know what's crazy? How it looks. I do have a glass of wine with it.
See?
Oh, let's call that bougie though. That's not
okay. Yeah. Every artist I know, every time they're drawing something, they do have like a little glass of something.
They gotta have something to stimulate.
But you're not gonna have me.
Well,
what is it? A sissy?
Oh God!
Take a sissy.
And on that note,
I thought we were done with that.
we
Oh, no,
are.
it's a reoccurring joke.
We're
Even though
out.
Zay not here, and I know you probably
You
watch
gotta
it.
watch the first.
He'll
season.
be at the next.
Gotta be at the first.
But
gotta watch
this
the first
was a great episode 2 of BlerdShyt podcast. Thank you for my homies here, Jamal and Donzell, for joining me in these
season.
games.
Who the fuck is done
What's
this?
that? I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry. Jamal and Savvy for being a part of this, man. Thank y'all so much. Really appreciate y'all.
Thank you for having
Thank y'all for y'all input on everything. You know, I think that, as I've been saying before, representation is very important in all facets, and for gaming to not have hit that mark, it's a little annoying, but that's what we have these conversations for.
Yeah.
You know, so thank y'all for being a part. Thank you for my Tone always in the background giving his 1s and 2s. You know,
Look, bro, somebody got to speak up for the straight system.
Is that how you feel?
We be confused, bro. No, but these be actual conversations I personally be wanting to have.
Absolutely.
And I feel like if I can't have it with y'all, especially y'all three, because like I talk to Jamal about shit all the time. I definitely talk to y'all too about. If I can't have that conversation with y'all, who the fuck can I have it with?
Absolutely.
Right.
And that's what this is for. You know, we want to be able to have these conversations, and
so you can be aware.
It's not just on the straight standpoint or the gay standpoint. We pretty much like the same thing. So why not just coexist in that same space?
Except for one. Just one thing.
Sexually, yes. Just one thing.
Just one thing. Everything else is the same.
Thank y'all again for coming out. Please make sure that you follow them at
Savvy Bro, SAVVYBREAUX, on Instagram.
He's kind of laying it on very small, y'all. This man draws and does his thing in designing, so please check him out.
Right. If we could change the angle in here, he got
some artwork up in here. So he's trying to be very modest, but please look him up. He does his thing. And then look up my friend here, Jamal.
You can find me at PerryJKP on Instagram, as well as horizontal_refreshments on Instagram. You can also check out Horizontal Refreshments later today, 6 p.m. on the same network.
You can be busy.
I'm busy. I'm tired, but that is the way of the
works.
world.
Yes.
And thank you, Buddha, for having us on the podcast and talking about some real shit.
Horizontal refreshment.
That is
consistently
that now.
It's consistently that. So don't ever ask me to be on your show again, because that's the song that I'm playing. Also, lastly, before we go, I just want to put out another plug about y'all coming out to support the charity that I'm going to be a part of later on tonight. This starts at 11 p.m., goes into 2 a.m., and I'll be playing Time Spinners for the Seasons of Pride event, which I'll be raising money for a charity called GamerX, which deals with representation of LGBT community in gaming, which was what we were talking about. So it's very important to me, and I really hope to see you all tonight. With that being said, thank y'all for tuning in, and we are out.